Welcome back to the shit show, or what I'm calling the Great Water Pump Debacle. I was hoping for a bit of a cheat sheet here about water pump torque specs, but there weren't any. Same here. I always like to have a look at the water pump side by side just to see if there's any differences, improvements, anything that stands out before you install it. Now's the time to look. What I should have been looking at was what you'll see coming up. If you guys saw the last video at the end, you should recognize this. So I just drew it up, that's all. Already something's not feeling right. I feel like that turned a lot further than it should have, but that is a crush washer. And that one's just completely gone. And right there I'm realizing how fucked I am. In the back of my mind, I've always sort of dreaded water pumps. That one torqued up. I'm not even sure why I kept going. Maybe hope and a prayer? Yeah, gone. You'll hear a lot of sighing in this video. So here we're going to zoom in on that. And you can see those threads are gone. They pulled out with the bolt. I mean, there's just nothing to it. You know, the thread, everything. Now, it's hard to tell from the video, but I could kind of see that there were threads in there. You know, of course, from the heli-coil that was in it. That's a handy little tool to have around. I got both SAE and metric. And it's just a thread checker. You can tell the thread pitch. It was at this point I'm thinking to myself, you know, I could just put another heli-coil in it. It'll be fine. But it wasn't. Man, that drawer is a disaster. Damn it. Damn it, indeed. Alright, so here's where we're at with the engine. The oil pan has been installed. The oil pump has been installed. Went to go install the water pump. And those threads gave out on me. And in fact, those ones there and those ones there, you can see a heli-coil in because they gave out on me as well. And so what happened was I went to go put the water pump in. See if I can include some photos of when I got the engine. You know, when I first got the engine and put it on stands, you could see that the thread insert that was in this hole had was already starting to have been pulled. I didn't notice it. Evidently they didn't notice it. And so I went to go put the water pump in. Subaru sequences A, B, C, D, E, and F. Put your gasket on, put your water pump on. You start A, work your way around, A again, and then work your way around 2 times, and the torque is 8.9 foot-pounds. This one torqued fine, A torqued fine, B was fine, C gave out, it never torqued. D was fine, E and F were fine. So I ran down to Napa and got a heli-coil kit, M6-1, and attempted to pull the old insert out of slot C, thread C, and install a new insert. But what I think happened is whoever put that insert in drilled this hole too large, so then when they went to tap it, the threads were only half as deep as they needed to be, and so the insert just didn't stick real well. So anyways, I pulled out the old insert, slapped the new one in there, went to go put the water pump back on with a fresh gasket, and started again on A. Worked my way around until it was all drawn up. First torque here, gave out right away. That one held. That one never held. That one gave out right away as well. Held and held. So now I've got two heli-coils in here, and I've got an oversized thread repair that the heli-coil won't repair. So at considerable expense, I had to purchase and wait to be delivered a Bigsert thread repair kit. And so it consists of a drill bit. I've already measured my depth, and so that's approximate. Comes with a new tap to fit the I don't know what that thing is called, and then the Bigserts. And so these are designed to repair threaded inserts that have previously failed. So now I get to drill the block. Now the part that I'm worried about is you can see the depth here. Unfortunately my micrometer is dead, but that's not a whole lot of room to work with. Not only do I have to drill the block that deep, I get to insert the Bigsert and then drive. If you've ever used a Time-Sert before, you've got to take this tool and get it out here. The tool's kind of tapered on the end there, and so what happens is you. I don't think I could do this. Oh, maybe I can. Nope. That's not gonna let me. Anyways, so you thread you thread the tool to the inside of the nutsert, and it stops there at the end. And then what happens is you drive that tool through, and it flares out this end here into the parent material, or in this case the Subaru block. And that's what, beyond red Loctite that you install this with, that flaring out into the parent material sort of keeps this thing from pulling out when you back the old bolt off. So this thing was, I don't know, 90 bucks off eBay. Took a few days to get, not that big of a deal. So secondary to that, something that occurred to me, and this was a happy little accident that this happened. Sometimes you have to look at the way the universe works and you just go, wow, you know, if I had mounted the water pump and left it, I'd have been pulling it back out because it would have leaked. So amongst all of their process that they do to get this thing prepped and cleaned and, you know, ready for paint or ready to be rebuilt, they sandblast it, or actually I take that back, they don't sandblast it, they media blast it with steel shot. And so what happens is I got a smooth surface here. Anyways, what happens is, now Subaru, when they ship these blocks out, the face of the oil pump, where the oil pump meets to the block, that's all machined. The face right here, where it meets the water pump, all machined. The face underneath, where the oil pump meets the block, machined. Obviously this is quite rough. I don't know how well that's coming up in video, but there is no way that the OEM Subaru crush metal gasket was going to seal against that. So Sunwest's recommendation to me was to not use a gasket at all, but instead use really right stuff or some other form of sealant. My experience with really right stuff is that it's pretty flexible, and I don't think it's really well suited for doing that. Tentatively, I'm anticipating using ultra gray, high vibration resistance, and it's pretty strong if you've ever had to pull some of it off of there before. But we'll see how that goes. So anyways, you know, these spots are machined. Now they're not. Now they're nice and rough. If you plan on using a Subaru OEM gasket or otherwise metal gasket, don't, because it ain't gonna seal. So beyond that, everything's good with the block. I kind of feel like customer service is a bit lacking over there. I never expected them to take the block back because of missed inserts, or, you know, inserts that were pulling out from a previous job. But I'd have been happy if they just said, you know, hey, you know, how could we help you out? You know, can we loan you a Time-Sert toolkit for you to fix that? Instead, they were just, you know, they made the suggestion, do a Time-Sert, or Bigsert rather in this case, and your problem, which is sort of unfortunate considering the amount of money that you spend on buying a used block, or I guess rebuilt short block. Time will tell what else we run into, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and drill that out carefully, and hope a Bigsert repairs that. So let you know how it goes. I'm going to fix this water pump here. And I've gone ahead and my battery's dead on this thing. I could barely see that. I don't know what you could see. Anyways, so we're going to do a depth check here. Oops, I zeroed it out. Wrong button. I don't use this thing very often. I'm gonna do a depth check here because dang it, I did it again. You don't want to drill too far, because if you do, you're going to be drilling into the water jacket, or you're going to be drilling into an oil passage or something, and it's going to leak and it's going to be ugly. So now this says we've got 19.5 millimeters, but we're not going to go that far. I'd like to try to drill out as little as possible here. So that's 14. Hope you could see that. So I've already set a depth on that, and this is a ratcheting. Well, it's not ratcheting right now. loosen, tighten. So anyways, we're just gonna run this in. And now I've already done this off camera, but I did need to get in here and break off the little chips that were in there. So there they are. After that, really don't want to break that. Don some safety glasses because you don't want shit in your eye. I'm just gonna blow that out. Make sure there's nothing in there. A little bit of chip right there on the end. So we can pull out the drill bit. It's really critical that you don't that you don't go too deep there. Because if you do, you're boned. Okay, so next thing is this, what do they call this? A counter bore. And so this is just gonna go, it's gonna make that little square right there. I don't know if you could see that. But so we're just gonna drive that in slowly. Put that back. Okay. And so we're gonna put a little lubricant on here. I forgot I was doing a photo tutorial 2. There we go. Looks good. All right, so this should fit in here like real nice. And then we're just going to cut that edge. And you could already see, well, maybe you can't, but it's already happening here. So oh yeah, that's working really nice. Okay, continue on here. At some point it'll just stop cutting, and that's how you know when you're at the depth. Imagine it's fairly critical to try to keep this as square as you can. Oh yeah, looking even better. Let's give this a quick blast of air here. And this is only so that that Time-Sert sits flush with the surface that you're mounting it to. So for some reason, I think we're there. Yep. Let's go a little bit further. But I don't feel it cutting anymore. And I don't see any more chips being made. So I think we're there. All right. This is a blast of air. Then we'll blow that out. You probably can't see it. If I remember, I'll throw in some pictures here for you. There's a nice step there. And so that's what that little step right there, can you see that? That's what that little step right there is going to sit into. Okay, so next thing, we tap it. So we don't need to go terribly far. We'll figure it out. And we are on to tapping. So that's the old shitty insert I pulled out of it. It doesn't really show up very well. Do I need to go get my macro lens? I might. Hold on. And just like that, we've got a macro lens on. So grab that nice little step right there. There we go. That's better. All right. So now, again, we tap it. And this is pretty critical because you want to try to get it straight, as straight as you can. Now they do sell a guide for this, but we're just gonna run it in. Usually these things are all right. So I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're tapping things, you'll find that you need to break the chips off inside there. It'll start getting tight. You feel like things are getting bound up a little bit, and that's not good. Like that right there. So we'll just click that over, break them chips off in there, and then we'll continue on. And I think we're at the bottom there. All right. There we go. Okay. Get this. There we go. And you can see them nice new threads in there. I'll try to remember to post those images in the video for you, so you get a better idea of what's happening, since the GoPro on my head doesn't really do a lot for you here. So while the compressor runs, I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate you folks watching, and it means the world to me that you might be interested in some of the things that I do. Sincerely, thank you. I'm just going to go ahead and clean up while I was waiting for the air tank to fill up, but we're on the final step here, which is the installation of the insert. And so I don't know if they've covered in these directions. They did not cover it in the instructions for the what am I looking for? It's there. They did not cover this in the instructions for the head bolt repair kit that they sell, but you most definitely want to clean out those threads that you just cut in the block. And the reason being is you're going to be installing the insert with Loctite, red Loctite specifically. And give this a good shake. And if those threads aren't oil free, you can't expect the Loctite to stick. I'm surprised that they don't include Loctite in with the, now this is some Chinese Loctite that I got from some cheap Chinese part that I purchased. I thought I did have some Loctite in here. There's blue, there's red, but I don't think there's anything in it. So we are going to break out the old Time-Sert kit, and I've run out of workspace here. Give it to me. This is a nice kit. Worked real well for my purposes. They ask a lot of money for it, but I couldn't have been happier with it. So we're going to use their driver oil, and we're also going to use their thread locker. So we'll give that a good shake. And what was I just going to get? Oh, okay. So what you need to do is you need to clean out all of the oil for the threads that you just cut. And it's gonna be messy and it's gonna be ugly, but you gotta do it, because if the Loctite don't stick, you're fucked. Well, maybe not fucked, but give me a second to stir this up here. Give that a good shake. Get this. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see that little step there. Yeah, you could see that for sure. And then another thing I wanted to show you was that this tool here is tapered on the end. You know, and not only tapered, is it's sort of square as well. You could feel it's not round. Which is pretty interesting. Okay, so anyways, we've blown the block out. We brake cleaned it. Let's brake clean it again for pickles. good and oil free. It's how it needs to be. We'll get out of the way. We blow it out. Of course, the brake clean pretty well destroys the paint that they put on it. I don't know if they could put paint on it that brake clean doesn't ruin, but okay. So to the installation tool, we're going to put just a drop of their oil on it, and then we're going to thread the insert on as far as it'll go. Cap that. Hope you guys could see this. We'll put on a nice dab of red Loctite on there. We'll grab our installation tool. And we will install our threaded insert into the block. And there's going to come a point where it's not going to want to go anymore. So at that point, you've got to put your driver on. Go ahead and oh, I think we fucked up. Because it did not go deep enough. Ah, shit. I ended up extracting that Time-Sert kit we put in. Now fortunately, this end didn't flare out, just the tool backed out. And so what I was doing wrong, or what I should have done, was made sure that the tool bottomed itself out into the repair there. So not a big deal, just something to be aware of, something that can happen. So we've got a new insert here. And put a fresh dab of Loctite on it. We'll cross our fingers and hope that it allows us to go deep enough this time. I think it might. No. We're a few threads shy there. I think what should happen is that thing should bury itself down until it gets to that step, and if it doesn't, you haven't you either haven't tapped far enough or you haven't drilled into it far enough. And so I'm actually suspecting that I am not tapping deep enough into it. You know, maybe I ought to drill a little deeper as well. Put a little lube in there. Yeah, it just bottoms out. So what I was afraid of, as I think is what's happening, there's not enough depth in order to drive the installation tool and everything down into the block before you run into trouble. I guess I'll see what I could do about drilling a little further. I don't want to. But I don't have much choice. I thought I had measured all of that correctly, but evidently not. So let's go through this again, shall we? Where's my, there we are. I don't even care what that thing says. Let's try to find the center there. And we are at 17 millimeters deep. You probably can't see that, but so let's find dry erase marker. It's the best way to do this. It's not terribly accurate, is it? Okay, so to that side of the line. And we don't want to go that deep, but that's a good place to try to stop. Where? Ooh, I should fix that. Somewhere I had some electric. Oh, jeez. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. All right. So we'll peel a little bit off of that off of there. I'm gonna split the difference on that line because I really don't want to go any deeper than I need to in order to do the job that we need to do. I really don't want to have to tear the block apart in order to fix what we fuck up. So anyways, here we go. Wish me luck. That's so what we'll do is we'll see if we can break off those chips in there. Okay. Wow, that's really deep, folks. That is massively deep. I mean, that's as far as I think you could possibly go. And I do think that they make other taps that will allow you to tap into a blind hole like this deeper. There are other tap styles made, and what I needed for this job is called a bottoming tap. While the plug tap that I had here worked well, a bottoming tap would have allowed me to tap to nearly the very bottom of the hole, so I didn't have to risk drilling so far into the block. Oh yeah, we're getting some out of it. Break those chips off. Oh, that's the bottom. So, the question is A, can we get it out by hand? And B, did it go deep enough? Boy, this is scary. I really don't like doing this. All right, let's rinse her out. Lots of chips come out of that. She's tapped pretty deep. All right, may as well rinse this thing off. Let's get off any residual Loctite that is on there. Close enough. Let's go reapply some Loctite. And cross our fingers and hope that this one goes deep enough. And because if it doesn't, then my original speculation was correct in that Bigserts are too deep to fix a water pump housing in a Subaru block. I don't know if Timesert makes shallower ones. Boy, we're just like a thread out. Let's see. Where did I hide the crescent wrenches? Oh, look at that. She sat pretty flush. So that's a really, really good thing. I figure out where I was last. Oh, I didn't get a picture with the Loctite on. Oh well, I'll fake it. Try to post that picture for you guys. get in here at a different angle. It's pretty flush. All right. So now the question becomes, can we drive the installation tool in deep enough in order to flare the Bigsert out into the parent material? Come on, baby. Okay, I think it did. And that's a really, really good thing. And it looks like that insert is staying. All right, folks, I think we got it. Oh, there she is. Look at that. Wow. I think we got really lucky on that one. Oops. Sorry, folks. I know what I'm doing. I'm a pro. Whew. So now the big question is, will a Subaru water pump bolt thread into it? Oh yeah. Oh ho ho yeah. Oh, what a beautiful thing. Whew. Man. Well, I think I'm going to leave the two heli-coiled ones alone, because last I felt they held torque. Time-Sert, those two were good, and that one was good. I think I'm gonna go get a 6-pack. Maybe a lottery ticket, because whew. All right, our Time-Sert has had time to dry. Not that it needed it necessarily, but I think it's always a good idea to give it some time anyways. So now we gotta clean the surface up and get it prepared for the water pump to be mounted. Get these two surfaces cleaned, run some ultra gray across that, and get it mounted on there. So, all right, let's do it. Sure. There is something above it that's leaking oil pretty bad. All right, part one. All right. Now that we've got all the paint removed and grease and oil, let's blow it off again. Let this dry out. Put this back. So I'm going to toss a little bit of this on the seal of the water pump. I've been reading lately that if you run these seals dry, meaning if you're working on a Subaru, then you're well aware that air pockets are a thing. You run these seals dry and they'll go bad faster. So get an air pocket and you're pretty well screwed. So I think in order to combat that, I'm just going to put a touch of sealant on, or silicone lubricant on there. I know it's not the right thing to use, but just a little bit, not a lot, just something to give it some protection, just in case there is a air pocket in there. Oh, I got stuff everywhere. I need to clean my shop. All right, put this back. So a little pro tip, if you're interested. Not that I'm a pro hack tip here. If you don't want these things to dry up, and this doesn't go just for the caulking tube, but also for the little tubes, like those. If you don't want them to dry up, put yourself a little dab of Vaseline on the end like I've got there. Hope you can see that. And this has been sitting around for a few days. We'll peel that off of there. Yep. It's like it never even sat there. And this will let you buy the big tubes. If you do this a lot, this will let you buy the big tubes and save a lot of money. Alright, so I need to look at this from the perspective of we're trying to take the same space that the gasket would take without putting too much. I think that's about right. Somewhere, I think. Ah, yes. Got to install this before we put the water pump in and make it a hell of a lot easier. All right. So I guess here goes nothing, huh? These water pumps are difficult on a good day. Now I'm like beyond cautious. I got PTSD. There we go. Maybe. All right, that's it. Looks like we've got good sealant expulsion from the joint. All the way around. And it looks like we got a good seal across the bottom here. So I am hopeful. God, that water pump's been such a shit show. All right. I'll come back. I don't know. It's pretty cold today, but I'll come back in 15 minutes or so and just give those a little bit more after that sealant's had a chance to set up. And so I wanted to show a bit about this water pump here. And now that the threads are fixed and the thing's bolted up, I wanted to try to show you all the extrusion of the sealant. Now, it's pretty minimal, and one of my concerns was where are we at here? There we go. Jeez, putting it on too thick and then getting a ton of extrusion blowing out of the sides, and more importantly, inside, because you don't want a bunch of that stuff flopping around. I mean, it is just the cooling system, so you know it's equally bad if it's the oil. You know, you get a bunch of that stuff flopping around and something comes dislodged, and next thing you know, you've got clogged oil passages. But so anyways, that was all. Thanks for hanging out. There's lots more to come as we finish assembling the long block.